How do I start if I don't even want to? How do I find the words to say if I can't? Where to begin if I can't stomach the fact that this is the end of something? I don't know about you, but I've been searching my mind lately, looking for the person that's responsible for all this. And of course it's fucking ridiculous to do so if you think about it, because no one's responsible at all. For it's the sum total of everything that killed us. The universe killed us. You killed us. I killed us. Distance killed us. Time. It's just that the ego has this tendency to check upon itself. And so in this sense, I guess that it's perfectly natural to have organized this ridiculous search party, patrolling my mind in the hopes of catching this criminal of love, this violator of the heart, this doomsayer announcing the inevitable end of things. But anyway, ridiculous as it may be, I stumbled on a door there the other day. And upon opening it, I found myself in an almost empty chamber. There were only the traces of regrets in a tiny basket full of broken promises. I sat down there for a while, silently, contemplating the space around me like a true detective. And then it dawned on me. I was looking for a person that was no longer there, and that if he could be held accountable for this beautiful, terrible mess, right? He has escaped the day of judgment by having evaporated from my consciousness into nothing. Whatever the fuck that means, I mean, nothing is a non-word. So yeah. Ultimately, every attempt I make on catching this bastard is not only futile, it's really just a game of hide and seek I'm unconsciously playing with myself, and I'd be lying through my teeth if I'd say that I'm playing this game for you. In reality, I'm desperately looking for a motive to tell you I'm sorry. But no matter how deep I delve into myself, it doesn't change the fact that there's no longer a person left that owes you an apology. Which is to say that in disguise, I'm secretly looking for ways to forgive myself while at the same time knowing there's nothing to forgive. There's no reason to say sorry. There's nothing to forgive, and there's certainly nothing I need to prove to anyone. And I get caught between these threads of truth, feeling the desire to turn a blind eye towards them, yet being perfectly aware of the fact that even if I'd close my eyes, I would still feel myself being stuck. Feeling myself hanging by these very threads. Realizing that even though they might feel like they're imprisoning me right now, they are the reason I haven't gone insane. Like they always have. No, not I, but really these threads have always been the captain of my soul. And since I've come to understand this, I've discovered that these threads in actuality are the extension of my fingers, running far and wide over this earth like vines. Your fingers and mine are the tendrils that latch out into space with the sole purpose of being able to distinguish our own marvelous little rock from the rest of the cosmos. Whether the fuck this marvelous piece of rock we live on is round, flat, or triangular shaped, I don't give a shit about all that, but I give a shit about you. You. And so I sit here, with my regrets on the left and this tiny basket full of broken promises on the right, figuring out what to say. Because there sure as hell is something left to say. And I'm not fucking Shakespeare, nor do I like tragedy, so I might as well say it. Don't be afraid. Our society and our culture would have us believe that we're all separate egos encapsulated in blood and these bags of skin. It would have us believe that we are aliens to the environment we're living in. Our culture teaches us that death is a tragedy and that being overjoyed is a form of sin, but this is not true. And I know that you know this, or feel at least, that this is merely an illusion we've chosen to believe in. And I know I sound like a hippie now. But people would be as baffled as I am if they figured out this is even confirmed by science. We think we know what we know and feel what we feel, but we don't. Quite frankly, it's impossible. Don't be afraid. Like one of my heroes used to say, being afraid is like being pushed off the rim of the Grand Canyon and clinging to the rocks that are falling with you. And don't get me wrong, I'm scared shitless. If you're afraid of death, of love, of a harmless little spider that's in the corner of a room, if you're afraid of anything, please, dear, be afraid. There's nothing wrong about being afraid so long as you're not afraid of fear. You see, the point is to get with it, to let it take over. Fear, ghosts, pains, transience, dissolution and all. And then comes the hitherto unbelievable surprise. You don't die because you were never born. You had just forgotten who you are. Don't be afraid. Life's too short to live in fear all the time. And beware of the mind, because a dude is a trickster, and if it tells you you're ugly, know that this is a lie. Beware of the mind, for it can be harsh, but it can also be kind. The mind has the capacity to ascend to the realm of the gods, but it can also reduce itself to the size of an ant. The trick is to pierce through this false duality and realize there's no difference between the two. that we're gods and ants at the same time. This means that while it's great to feel great, it's also okay to feel miserable. But alas, I'm probably saying things that you already know. But you see, this is my problem. I have the urge to say things even though I already know that people already know what I'm trying to tell them. But I guess I'm not the only one who has this problem, because it's what humans do. When we eat delicious food, we say this is good. When we're having a great time, we say this is nice. We risk spoiling our experiences by trying to catch them in a net of words, but this is what we do. Communicating with other human beings, making sure that we let them know how we feel. So excuse me for saying these things that you already know, but I'm only human. And therefore, I hope there's no harm in reassuring you that there's nothing wrong about saying goodbye and saying that I love you. Because I love you. In this other book I've read, a character is told the following: you must remember what you are and what you've chosen to become, and the significance of what you are doing. There are wars and defeats and victories of the human race that are not military and that are not recorded in the annals of history. While you and I waged a war that might go unnoticed to the rest of the world, but to me it has been a battle worthy of remembrance. And while we both win and lose at the same time, creating this weird mixture of emotions which makes me doubt whether I should laugh or cry about it all, I can't help but feel gratitude for having you as my honorable opponent. You are a warrior. And it's so heart-wrenching for me to look back at our time together and see how every step in the right direction for me individually was a step further away from you. Even though it breaks my heart for that, I'd like to thank you. So thank you. Thank you for being my atlas. You've carried the world on your shoulders at times for me when I wasn't even able to carry myself. I might have lost a lover, but I've gotten a new best friend today that I'm happy to add to my scarce collection. I want you to know, in the name of Zeus, the guardian of friendship, that I am your friend, and you are most welcome. And I'm not even going to use the words I promise here, because out of all the things I said up until now, this is the one thing that should be abundantly clear. I guess that in the end, love boils down to vulnerability. And I'm glad that once upon a time, you and I decided to trust each other with our own fragility. I'm gonna miss you, kiddo. And it's going to be hard. I'm gonna miss those eyes. I'm gonna miss the way you gently shake your ass because you can't help yourself but move to a song that makes you happy. It's so good to see you when you're happy. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss crawling up to you in bed. But most of all, I'm gonna miss that way you can smile at people, confirming that things are gonna be all right. And I should consider myself lucky because fortunately for me, I'm able to picture you doing that. I'm gonna miss you. But things are gonna be all right. Because the thing is, you're not a monkey, sweetheart. And I'm definitely not a panda. We're both panda monkeys, you see, and even though we might be hopping onto different branches now, we'll always be climbing the same tree. Thank you.